All right, here we are. We're starting up. Yeah, let me get this camera in the right spot. Shouldn't need that. Still setting up, guys. This is our inaugural episode, our very first episode, and I wanted to do it right. Okay, got to remove my normal reading glasses. And we're going to put on my painting glasses. And I'll move the camera down so you can actually watch me do some painting as we talk. Okay, so let's before I start painting, I want to get a couple of things out of the way. Now we'll talk while I'm painting. What the hell? There's a couple of things I want to get out of the way. I have multiple cameras. Okay, I'm not looking up there. I'm looking down here at the miniature, so bear with me, guys. Okay, so we're calling this Wargaming Wednesday because guess what? It's Wednesday, and I'm wargaming. I'm not actually playing a game. I'm painting wargaming miniatures, and we're talking about wargaming, the wargaming industry. I want to and understand that my perspective is coming from a long time wargamer. I've been gaming since the 70s, but with a little bit of temperance from being a wargaming retailer and also a wargaming wargaming hobbyist, wargaming retailer, and obviously a miniature painter, and etc. And a YouTuber and a live streamer. Okay, there we go. Whoa, my camera. Okay, so what we're painting today is I can zoom that in actually. How about if I do that for you guys? How do I work my camera? This has been a long time coming. I haven't really pulled the trigger on live streaming any painting. It's been a long time. I did it once, but it wasn't really a... Okay, now my focus is going to be all screwy. Hey, you can see my my software. Look at that. Okay. Okay, let's get a... Oh, it's on auto. That's horrible. Okay, that zoom sucks. Okay, so we're not going to use that zoom. Hell no. Okay, I'm going to do this a little bit different. Yeah, bear with me, guys. This is my first setup. I haven't tried doing this in a long time. Now what we're gonna also... Okay, that's good enough. That's actually pretty good. Okay, and the focus. Yeah, that looks good right there. I can move this out of the way. That doesn't need... I do have a chat up. Okay, so, but it's actually behind me. So I'm not planning... Now you probably hear like a motorcycle going by, and because hey, life is happening out here. All right. I got me my hot chocolate here. It's actually Indulgence. It's the brand. It's a K-Pod from Keurig, and it's mint chocolate. And it is outstanding. Okay. I have a number of topics that I want to go over with you guys as we paint. One of the topics that I wanted to go over, Camel, okay, is we're going to talk about the show, this show, and its evolution. Okay, I mentioned that I have multiple cameras. I've been thinking about putting like one camera on the figures, one camera on me, you know, one camera on, I don't know, the ceiling. No, seriously. No, just really, just one camera on me and then one camera on whatever project I'm working on. In this case, it happens to be French Light. This is the 3rd Battalion of the 4th Light Regiment, specifically for Quatre Bras. These guys are Perry miniatures. Okay, now I'm using Camel, but I don't know what's going on with my eyes today. And I was thinking about this show going from about 11 to 1. Understand that I'm Central, so I guess Eastern time that would be like 12 to 2. If you're in the Pacific Coast, it would be like 9 to 11, something like that. Yep, this will work. And okay, so we're talking about cameras. Now, the multiple cameras, I don't know if that's something I want to get into. Setting up multiple cameras, multiple tripods, multiple locations. Or if I just want to go with one camera and keep it simple, you know. If you're watching this later on YouTube, because this will be uploaded to YouTube as well as live streamed to YouTube. If you're watching it later and you want to place a comment, make a suggestion, or, you know, tell me your opinion on whether or not you'd like 2 cameras or 1, just let me know. Also, the time is convenient for me. Wednesdays, it'll be Wednesdays at 11 Central. Okay, I'm trying to remember. Why did I pull this Camel out? Okay, because I'm going to be putting it on the drum skin. Here it is. Under I know I mixed way too much paint, but that's what usually happens when I'm using folk art. I usually put way too much. Okay, so we got the drum skin bottom. We're going to do the drum skin top. Not too not too concerned about getting it on the drum sticks because I still haven't painted those yet. I'm going to be painting those in a minute or 2 or 3. Don't expect me to finish these miniatures on this 2-hour live stream. I paint every day, and I paint usually about 8 hours a day. Just so you know. Now I'm also painting the apron for the drum. And if it's off camera or something like that, that's also not a concern of mine. because the painting is secondary to the conversation. I figured while I was painting, I could have conversations with my audience and kill basically two birds with one stone. You know, it's me painting on my own for either my collection or my store, because I could be painting anything here. I could be painting World War II, Agincourt, you know, I could be painting sci-fi or Napoleonics or American War of Independence. It doesn't matter. I could be painting anything because I have an eBay store that I sell painted miniatures on, and I do a lot of that painting at the same location right here. Okay, so I got the apron painted, and I've got the top and the bottom of the drum. So it'd be the drum skin. Oh yeah, I forgot. I got a sapper in this set. So this sapper is going to have an apron as well. So here we go. Now, a lot of people will paint their aprons a much lighter color, like a gray or something like that, like a really light gray, almost a white. I've done that sometimes. What I like to do is vary. Inside my army, everything is not exactly the same all the way across the board. It's close, but there are some discrepancies. There are some variations. Specifically when it gets to the greatcoats, I tend to go with the philosophy that they're either like a light brown, a dark brown, a light gray, a dark gray, sometimes even like a off green. Basically, I just paint them a variety of different colors that were in use in greatcoats in France in 1815. Okay, so this apron looks like it wraps all the way around, almost all the way, almost touches in the back. Wow. Okay, so this show, back to the show. I'm going to talk about a variety of different topics. Now, in this first episode, I'm talking mainly about the show itself, and then in future episodes, we'll talk about specific topics, but there's a couple of specific topics that I really want to discuss in this video, and one of them is Warlord games. As you know, or don't know, I don't know if you're new to my channel. Okay, we got a chat. What does it say? It says, Edward's Armies. Hi, hello. I'm from the UK, checking in, but I could only be here about 15 minutes. Hey, Edwards, man. That's if you are Edwards, welcome to the channel, man. And it's okay. You know, I'm not going to twist your arm and tell you you can't leave. If you can only stay 15 minutes, then that's fine. Do what you got to do. But you can watch this later. Again, Edward, if you on your own time, you can watch this later on YouTube. It will be uploaded. If you have any more comments, I'll be glancing over my shoulder back at the chat every so often. Now, what I could do is move the chat over here. If you haven't seen my setup, I've got 3 monitors, right? I've got one where I've got the stream playing so I can see what it looks like on camera. And then I've got my recording software here. And then in the middle, I've got my screen captured. Basically, this thing right there is my middle monitor. So if I ever needed to look up and see what was going on, or what the pattern is that I needed to work on, I would see it up there. Okay, getting on the inside of the apron, just so it doesn't stand out as being blue, the blue primer. If I had primed black, which a lot of you already know, I prefer to prime black on most of my figures, I probably would have just left it because a black in the shadows is perfect. Okay, so he's got his apron on. And that's really all I wanted that color for, was the aprons and the drum skin. Okay, clean, 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 clean. Now I can actually just take, since this color is completely finished, I'm not going to use it on anything else, I put it on my paint rack. There you go. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to talk about... Oh, wait, I got multiple chats. What's going on here? He's painting too? Eating dinner? Starting a channel in August? Oh, Edward Devon. Okay. Yeah, hey, cool. And also, those guys that are watching this can also see the chat, so you should be able to see what he's saying as well. 1815 painter. Currently working on Rourke's Drift. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just got finished watching Zulu the other day for like the 100th time. I like watching it. It's I don't know what it is about Rourke's Drift and that movie Zulu. But it's kind of emotional to me, but you know, I'm not British, but I really like the British Empire, unfortunately, or fortunately, or whatever. Homeland. Okay, so I also have thought about this too. Not only am I going to talk about manufacturers, miniatures. I'm going to like review miniatures. I'm going to talk about manufacturers, companies I do business with, upcoming news, releases, stuff like that. Like I was going to talk about Warlord Games today, but I might want to talk about Perry Miniatures next week, or Victrix, or like, you know, I struggled with Victrix, you know, last month and the previous months. But I might also talk about Front Rank, or I might talk about, you know, Games Workshop, or whatever I might talk about. But in today's video, I did want to touch up on Warlord Games, right? You can't see that because my monitor's in the way. Let's see if I did one of these numbers. Warlord Games. Okay, so next color is going to be the old P3 formula, right? I wish they still made these. I think that Privateer has moved to bottles like this. I have 100. I have more than 100. I got like 200 of these paints, right? From either Army Painter, Warlord, which I believe is Army Painter as well, maybe just relabeled. Also Vallejo, and I think Privateer has moved to this concept, which I don't like, because if I wanted this concept, I would go to Vallejo or Army Painter. But I liked the fact that they were in tubs, because then I don't have to do any mixing or anything. It's already pre-planned, pre-prepared, and they have a variety of good colors that I can't like find anywhere else. Like Battle Dress Green, I think that's a pretty cool color. And then there's this other one over here, Crick's Bane, you know. I don't really see those colors anywhere else. I'm sure I could find them if I really looked, but okay, so I keep talking about Warlord, but then I keep jumping onto other things. Okay, so Warlord games. Oh, by the way, this is bootstrap leather, and that's what I'm going to paint their backpacks with. I'm going to take this off. I don't need a headset on because I'm not actually watching a video. Now, something that Edward's probably doing. Yeah, Warlord Games does do a little bit of both, but I'm not really talking about their figure quality today. I wanted to talk about a few emails that I got. As a retailer, as a very small store that sells Warlord products, I got an email. I got a couple of different emails, and one of them was, and I don't know if you know this, all their prices just went up. Yeah, their prices went up, and they sent me an apology letter, in advance, like a couple of weeks in advance, saying, hey, we're getting ready to raise our prices. If you want to order with the old prices, now's the time. July 12th is the new price day. That's when all the prices are going to change. So get your orders in now while you still can, right? Okay, well that was nice. I was mixed emotions about that. I felt okay, there we go. Clean that up. I feel like they were doing me a favor by letting me know. So if I was planning on putting an order in, I could get it in and have the low prices, and take advantage of that. But I also felt like it was a marketing ploy to get people to put orders in so that they would make a ton of money in a short amount of time. But as a businessman, I don't fault them for that. I mean, they're trying to make money. What the hell? That's the whole idea. I'm a capitalist. I get it. All right. So that's one thing. All their prices just went up. So if you are on my eBay store, I'm not going to raise, I don't think I'm going to. I might, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I don't think I'm going to raise the prices for the miniatures that I already have on the store. They're going to be on my old prices, which I've already marked down. They're already, because I get a discount from Warlord, so I translate that to a discount for you. And one of the big advantages is I'm an online store. I sell through eBay, so I have I don't have rent or electricity that I have to pay to keep a brick and mortar store open. So because of that, I think I could relax my prices, but with eBay taking about 10% of all my sales, and now Warlord jacking their prices up, so it's going to cost me more to restock any sold miniatures. My prices might have to go up as well. So just letting you know, currently no prices have changed, but I am considering jacking my prices up about 10%. Warlord went up 12% for me, I think is what it was, across the board, or maybe it was 12% across the board for everybody. I don't know if that was just me or if that was for everybody. Also, in the last couple of months, they changed the retail program where I was getting a specific discount Actually, I'm going to tell you, it didn't really change for me. Not really. They have this, they used to call it like the retailer program, and now they're calling it the partner program. I think they're calling it the partner program. So if you stock, the more you stock of Warlord games in your store, the bigger the discount would be for the level of inventory that you maintain. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool, but I am super small. I might have 100 total boxes of Warlord games products, and I don't meet that minimum to be a partner. So I'm basically just what they call a bottom level retailer or something like that, which I don't think that discount had changed for me. I think that was pretty much always where I was. I think they were just giving people incentive to become a partner, basically lowering their discounts, which I think is pretty cool. I mean, Warlord does a really good job with their community, and when I say community, I mean like their partner community, their business community. I think they do a very good job. When I order from them, I usually, and this is not always, but I usually can receive my order in like 2 to 3 days. I don't know about you guys up in the UK, but I'm in the US, and I think my orders are shipping from like Arizona, and it's fairly centralized in the US, and I'm in Tennessee, which is also fairly centralized, so it only has to go over a couple of states, which 2 to 3 days, pretty cool. All right, so right now I'm painting some backpacks, and we'll continue on. Right now I'm avoiding these kettles that I put on the back of these packs. I didn't put them there. I painted them black already. And so I'm trying to avoid that. Okay, so that was one of the emails, was their price increase. And then I just recently received a second email, which is, oh, wait, something just popped. Oh, 35 days. Okay, that's good. That's about the same then. Yeah, so Warlord has a good process. Like, you place the order, they package it, they ship it, you get it. Where some other companies don't, because I don't know if you know this, but a lot of wargaming companies out there are small, like one-person operations, like GMB Flags, let's just say. GMB Flags, I put this order in over a month and a half ago. And pretty sizable, $200, something like that. To me, that's pretty sizable. Because what I do is, as I paint miniatures for the store, I'll put GMB flags on them, because I think GMB flags are probably the best quality flags that I've seen. The style and design just looks better to me, in my opinion. Have I ordered and used War Flag in the past on some of my own figures? Yes. I think you get a good flag from War Flag for a reasonable price. I just think that GMB is a stronger product, So I put this order in, like $200, and it's a month and a half later, and I contacted the owner and said, or the info number that they provide, And he sent me something back, which is an apology of why it hasn't shipped. And it's okay. I mean, I understand where he's come from. He had to take care of some really personal business, and I understand that. And I don't fault anybody for having to take care of some personal business. I get that. But it didn't ship. Nothing shipped because it's only run by one guy. Okay, there we go. I had to fix those backpacks because apparently there's a gap, and I'm going back to the old set. There's a gap between the pack and the back that you can see the backpack. So you got to paint the backpack back. Say that 3 times fast. Okay. Oh, look at that. And okay, so that was that. So Warlord had sent me a second email, and that second email talks about new releases. Okay, good. I get new release info weekly, just so you know. And this latest one had this summer's, which is already July, gentlemen, this summer's tournament schedules and packs, like how to, download the tournament rules for running tournaments and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I'm not planning on doing that this year, but in previous years, I would host games down at various conventions, right? Last year I skipped. Why? Because of the COVID. But this year I skipped because I want to run a game and I'm not finished. I'm not ready for it. So I decided I'm not gonna participate. And plus the COVID is still like almost here. People are getting vaccinated. Some people aren't. And the Delta variant, as they say, and a variety of different other reasons. But I decided not to worry about it this year. I'm not going to press myself to go to this convention, pay money to go in and run a game. And that just tells me by next year, which is normally in August, by next year I will definitely be ready, and I will have like a whole table set up and everything. I'm probably going to redo Quatre Bras. I had already ran a Quatre Bras campaign there probably 2 or 3 years ago. It went over very well. I had like 6 players per side. Okay, that's a lie. Probably about 8, 9, 10, maybe about 10 players total. And everybody had a good time. Everybody loved the miniatures and the table layout and everything. I did not. I was like, keeping my chin up saying, yeah, this is great. And I was like, no, it's not great. And the reason why is I made a table, one of those canvas tablecloths, like painter's cloths that you can lay out. And then I covered it with latex rubber. And then I flocked it, and I had my roads on there, and I had the fields and the areas where the trees were at. And then I used styrofoam underneath it to give it its hills and stuff. So this tablecloth / painter's blanket laid on top of the styrofoam gave it its hills, and it looked really good. I mean, I'm going to say it did. It looked good. But the thing I didn't like was, because I was in such a hurry to get my armies finished and painted, I cut some corners. I painted primary colors, and then Also made the units all small. So every unit was 16 figures. When every unit is 16 figures, you could paint a lot, or at least I can. I can paint a lot of figures in a short amount of time. And when I'm only painting base coats, I was able to get the entire Quatre Bras from start to finish done in about 4 months. Yeah, I thought that was, and you know, they still looked really good. Don't get me wrong, the base coating with washes, and once you put them on a base with flock, and then they looked really good. And something that I didn't know at the time, this is a new thing I learned recently, is that the 2nd and 3rd battalions don't carry the French flag. I had always been a brigade painter because I used to play Napoleon's battles. And basically every unit that I painted was a different regiment, and I would put the regimental flag with them, which is completely 100% okay. But when I started playing Black Powder is a battalion level game. I was not really knowledgeable in the French flag carrying. So in those 4 months, I cranked out a bunch of small units, and then later I decided that I needed some money, and I sold them all. Yeah, so I sold all of those units, and then now I've started to rebuild my Quatre Bras, but I made a commitment to myself that I was going to do a better job at painting them. And I said I was going to do a more better job at researching the uniforms. Instead of just kind of going generic for everything, I said, you know what, I'm gonna really do this right. I think I'm gonna do it right. So I don't rely on just one uniform source. I use 3 or 4 different ones. And then I got to the flags, and they started talking about how the 2nd and 3rd battalion don't have eagles. And I was like, they don't have eagles? What the hell? I thought every battalion had an eagle. No, they have guidons. The 1st battalion carries the regimental eagle with the regimental flag. And then the 2nd, 3rd battalions carried a guidon, which was just a solid color, red, white, yellow, and blue. And I said, red, white, and blue, I believe, for 1st, 2nd, 3rd battalion. And so I went, okay, so what does that mean? And then I started looking at okay, this is the 3rd battalion. And if I click on staff, okay, it doesn't show. Well, that's not even the right unit. Okay. Light, 4th light, 3rd battalion. Okay. So if I went to battalion staff, they carry a red guidon, and they don't have an eagle. You know, you can kind of see this. I don't know if you can see my mouse pointer over there, but and that's 3rd battalion of the 4th light. If it was 1st battalion and I went to battalion staff, you see they got the eagle and they've got the regimental flag. Benjamin Christensen, hey man, thanks for joining us on the stream. He's working on a similar project at the moment, so thanks for inspiration. Both sides for Quatre Bras in 28mm. Yep, that's what I'm doing. Yeah, I appreciate you, man. And welcome to the channel. I am planning on doing a Wargaming Wednesday live stream every Wednesday, starting at 11 Central Time. That would be, I guess, noon Eastern Time. And we'll talk about various projects that I'm painting, or, well, actually, we'll talk about whatever I'm painting on that day, because I kind of rotate my personal collection with my eBay store. Sometimes I'll paint figures specifically for the eBay store. Right now, I'm just painting for my personal collection. And I'm doing backpacks right now. Okay, so where was that? What were we talking about? Oh yeah, the 28mm. So I decided I was going to make the units official and make them 24 figures, right? So 6 stands of 4 figures each. I know there's a lot of people out there that do the 6 stands with 6 figures each, kind of the whole Perry method. But I like that look. That look looks really good, but you need 2 things for that. You need an extremely large table to do the smallest battle. And I only have a 5x9 table. My Wargaming table is 5x9. So I decided, and that was one of the reasons why I went with 16 figures originally, because I figured I could get more on a 5x9. And you might hear somebody mowing their lawn outside. I apologize if you can hear that. But I think, I'm going to take these figures to conventions and the like. So I want them to be based according to the rules, right? So I'm a rules lawyer at heart. No, I'm not really, but yeah, I guess maybe I am a little bit. I'm a stickler. When it comes to playing a game, I like to follow the rules. If they say roll a d6 and you're supposed to get a 6, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll a d6 and look for a 6. I'm not going to say 5 or 6 because it's better. Now, if I am the referee of a game at a convention, which 9 out of 10 times that is the case, I want to follow the rules for a couple of different reasons. It makes it easy to remember. It's in the book. But also there are people playing your game that probably have read the same book that you have. And so you don't want to inundate them with a whole bunch of house rules. You know, you want to play by the book. Now, if it's a beer and pretzels game or just something fun with you and your friends, yeah, change whatever rules you want to change. You know, that's fine. That's perfectly doable. Now, I said that we're only going to be streaming live for a couple hours. Now, it's going to take me more than a couple hours to paint these guys, obviously. You know, but again, this is not about me painting. This is about me talking to you, the audience. Talking with you, at you, to you, with you. I don't know. What am I saying? I don't even know. Because, and I'm limiting it to 2 hours instead of like an 8-hour all-day live stream. Because first of all, you're going to get bored listening to me talk. You probably already are. And I'm going to run out of things to say. I know this. By doing it once a week, I can take weekly notes on things that I want to talk about. And then in the future videos, this was kind of a spur of the moment kind of thing. In the future videos, I might have like a game plan, like what kind of topics I want to talk about. And it's not always, and I'm going to have to admit this, guys, if you are, I'm just warning you, it might or might not be about wargaming. Well, there will definitely be wargaming content, that's for sure. But I might talk about what's going on in politics. I might talk about religion. I might talk about space flight, going to the moon. I might be talking about Mars. You never know what I might be talking about. I could be talking about anything. But I will try to keep it relevant, or not relevant, but I'll try to keep it under control and talk about wargaming. But I might have some tangents, talk about my president, or talk about like Texas representatives. Again, I'm in Tennessee. I might talk about Democrats or liberals, because I feel strongly about those topics. So it might eke its way into our conversation. Just giving you a warning. Now, why did I pick Wednesday? Well, it rhymes with wargaming. No, it doesn't. No, but no, because I thought about it this morning. And also, I don't know if you know this, but my wife is a teacher at a local college, teaches English and history, and not critical race theory or critical applied practices. So, but no, she teaches English and history, and we're probably, even though I think she likes to vote Democrat, she's more of a conservative, and I don't know why she votes Democrat, but that's okay. I've been trying to convert her for years. But my point is, I'm starting to let that eke into my conversation. Sorry. Back to subject. She has a class on Wednesday, so she's not in the house. So that basically means there won't be any interruptions while we have our conversation. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. And this last one only has a couple of backpacks because it's the command stand. It only has the drummer and the sapper. So that's why I chose Wednesday. If her class day ever changes, like if her school says, okay, you're now going to start teaching on a Thursday night or something like that, then I might change the day of this conversation, because I don't want to have this conversation while there's a bunch of people running around the house. You know, that's just me being honest with you guys. We are not going to put it on a Thursday night ever, because that is my D&D game. I play D&D every other Thursday night, and then we alternate that with Traveler. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Traveler, but it's a science fiction role-playing game, and I play that every other Thursday night with some of the same players. Some different players and some of the same players. Both of those games are... Traveler has always been my favorite role-playing game. And D&D has never been in my top 5 list. But 5th edition has kind of reinvigorated my D&D and so basically it just brought me up to okay, this is an okay system. But I'm running this one campaign called Odyssey of the Dragonlords, and it's written by some of the same writers that contributed to Mass Effect. So I see a lot of similarities between this D&D campaign and the Mass Effect game. And I'm really liking it. I mean, it's not like a one-for-one storytelling, but I really like the Odyssey of Dragonlord. It's set in like a fantasy Greek setting. It's really good. I like it. Okay, so I don't plan to use this color again, so I'm putting it on the shelf. We're going to go to light gray next. Do some gray coats on the back of their packs. Hold on. Wait a second. I don't think I'm going to do that. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. I don't know. A lot of times I'll paint their collars before I do the bedrolls. I say bedrolls when I mean gray coats. I don't think I need to do that. I think there's a lot of room to paint their collars. Okay, we're going to do gray coats. Yeah, so that's why we're playing on Wednesday, or playing. That's why I'm streaming on Wednesday, because of the empty house. The empty house theory. Okay. Okay, so what have we talked about so far today? We've talked about... Oh, wait, I got a bunch of chats. Here we go. Let's read some of these. Quattro Robot is my ongoing project, but I get sidetracked. How long do you hope to be live each week? About 2 hours. 11 to 1. What size buildings are you using for your 28mm Quattro Bra? I am using 28mm buildings. I can show you a couple if you'd like. Like this one and this one. I've got 100 of them up here, but okay, this is just a few. Even though I have some Sarissa as well. These are actually all medieval cottages, right? Very simple medieval cottage, 28mm. And because of the size, mainly it's because of the size of the base. This base is, what are we looking at? 11 centimeters by 9 centimeters. And then what I do is I'll put this, okay, I don't know if you saw me make my mat, but what I will do is I'll have a black area on, because I made a Quattro Bra mat, and you can go to watch that video. But in that Quatre Bras mat, I have areas of built up areas, and I painted those black specifically to contrast with the green and browns that I used for the fields. So they're specifically black, and they have harsh edges, right? It's straight edges, okay? And these buildings would just fit down inside that black area. And if I needed to, I can adjust where this building is inside that black area. But that black area is the built up area. So that's when you deploy into the building, you just consider that black zone to be the built up area. So anything inside that black area is considered in that building. And I made that black area big enough that I could have a building and 6 bases around it. So even if sometimes I would have the building right up against the edge and then put the 6 bases right there, right? Or I'll have the building this way and have the bases like this, or I'll have it in the middle and the bases can go all the way around, just depending. I do not put figures inside buildings, right? That's I do that in like Bolt Action or something like that. But in this game, these buildings don't, like you already know, that's why you probably asked the question. These buildings don't represent one building. It represents a group of 4 or 5 buildings. This building, same company, is a 2-story building, but it has exactly the same base dimensions. Roof comes off. It's got upstairs. If you were playing a skirmish level game, you could put guys in there shooting out the windows and stuff. These buildings, I highly recommend them. These buildings, I think I got these on the Warlord website. They are inexpensive, like $10, something like that. There's only like 5 pieces. You got the floor, well, maybe not on this one because it's a 2-story. But like on this one, you got the floor, the 4 walls, and then 2 pieces for the roof that you just glue together. And I don't glue it down because you could get inside. And then you just got to paint them, right? And they paint it up super easy, in my opinion. Okay, but that's not all I use. I also, like, this is a foreground? Yeah, it's a foreground MDF, pre-painted, pre-textured medieval cottage. I like the medievals for Agincourt. Also, they work great as just European, I think, in my opinion, for villages or whatever. And it's just a representation. But I also have some Sarissa and what's that other brand I've got up there? I got Sarissa and I've got miniature Wargaming or something. I can't remember the name of the brand, but it's like a resin pre-painted model. And then I've got some homemade buildings that I just made on my own using foam board or whatever. Okay, let me put these buildings up. Okay, sorry, there's a cool tangent. Let's see what else. Where are we at? The size of buildings. Okay, and then that's fine. Debate is good. I like to debate, and I do not get nasty with people who are not on my way of thinking. Okay, cool. Taught English and history. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Just like my wife. Okay. She hasn't seen your road to Damascus. Yes, I did. I did support him. I still support him. I don't. There's a lot of things. This is where I'm coming from. There's a lot of things that both sides do that are good, and there are things that both sides do that are bad, and I compare through my own research and my own deep dives what is true and not, because I've noticed over the last 5 years, that there is a tendency for certain television personalities to lie or say specific they not come out and just say, the sky is red. That's not what I'm saying. They lie through omission. Like they will show a portion of a speech and not show the entire speech. And they only show a specific portion that makes a specific person look bad. And I would be like, oh man, I can't believe he said that. That's so wrong. Man, I would never vote for that guy. And then I watch another source and they show the entire speech. And I'd be like, oh, that totally makes sense why he said that. And I totally agree with that. I can't believe I was suckered by this other person that omitted the context on purpose to make him look bad. And so over the course of because in 2016, I did not vote for him. But over the course of the last 5 years, I thought he was top tier, top 10% of the presidents we've had. And yeah, okay, so he says some stupid stuff. Who doesn't? I say stupid stuff, and that's probably why I like him, is because he's the people. He's a person. He's not a robot. He's not being controlled by the establishment or whatever, so he was a bull in a china shop, that kind of thing. Okay, so what do we got here? Makes good sense. I've just ordered a bunch of third printed 1/72 scale houses for use with my 28. Yeah. I had considered when I was considering painting some 15 millimeter figures for like the American War of Independence, or even my Ancients. I thought, if I'm playing in 15 millimeter, do I want 15 millimeter buildings? Do I want them to be the same scale? Or do I want to play with maybe 6 millimeter or 10 millimeter bases? Same thing with the 28 millimeters. I said, do I want to have, because what I could do is get smaller buildings and put more of them in that area, and then it would definitely look like a city or a town cluster or something like that. But I've tried that in the past, specifically with my Command Decision. Command Decision, I used to play in 1/72nd HO scale, and then I put some buildings together that were N scale, which is a lot smaller, and I used them, and it didn't look right, because when you put a man on a base standing next to that building is what the doors are so small they look like they're for a hobbit. So I decided that I'm going to scale the buildings to the men and not the ground scale, because I considered Hougoumont. This is really the what caused me to think this way was Hougoumont. I'm planning on doing that immediately after when I get done with Quatre Bras. I'm going to continue on to my Waterloo battlefield, and I'm going to do the battle around Hougoumont, which happens to be a lot of the same figures or same units. So I won't have to redo a bunch of units. There will be some units that are different, but a lot of them are going to be the same. That's why I decided to do that. And then later I'll do like La Saint or Papillote or the Prussians and the Grenadier Guard and stuff like that. But that'll be later on down the road, maybe a year or two from now. So it's going to keep me active for a long time. But Hougoumont is the next step, and I kind of was looking forward into the future. And I said to myself, if I build Hougoumont in 28 millimeter, it's going to take up the entire table. You know, it's going to be like a 3-foot building on a 5-foot table. So I said, you know what? I could build it in maybe 1/72nd scale, or even go as low as 15 millimeter. But then I said to myself, it won't look right. It'll be microscopic compared to the miniature figures. So there is a debate in my head on whether or not I want to abide by ground scale or figure scale. And I think I'm going to stick with figure scale. 1/72nd probably wouldn't look too bad. But with Hougoumont coming in at like $200 or whatever from Sarissa, I don't think I want to commit until I have really decided. Now, I also considered not doing the entire Hougoumont. You know, like figure out what the ground scale would be on the table. Make those city sectors, obviously, and then get specific buildings from Hougoumont and just put them on those city sectors. Like you got the manor house, and then you've got the stables, and you got the church, or I should say the chapel, or whatever they call it. And then you've got the orchard, which, in my opinion, that's more of a not part of the city structure, even though it's got a fence all the way around it, or a wall, I should say. I probably would still treat that as like just a wooded area with, if you're in it, you get extra cover. But on the table, I'll show it, you know, outlined by a wall and stuff like that. And then I thought to myself, and this is just like different things that I thought about. It's like, if I do that, then I'm going to have some buildings missing. But I think what I'd rather do is just put the entire thing on the table and adjust like entry onto the table or shooting onto the table from off table. Like the scenario in Albion Triumphant, you have French artillery that shoots onto the table from off table. So you just measure from the edge of the table to the unit or whatever. And I think that could be done. Same thing with the regiments. They could deploy off table, and even on the Allied side, and then just move onto the table as needed, so that the main focus is the battle around Hougoumont and not, flanking around Hougoumont. Just to bring attention to the importance of that location on the battlefield. That's what I'm thinking. I'm leaning towards making a full-scale 28mm Hougoumont. I don't have any place to put it, though. Luckily, what I seen was they're individual buildings that are separate, and then you can store them separately, and then when you put them on the table, you put them together like a puzzle piece, and then you'll have the entire chateau. So I probably, if that's the case, then I do have shelf space, because my shelves are only 12 inches wide. But that's going to be a project that building will be a project that I'll start once I finish Quatre Bras. I've already got the trees, the hedges, the walls, the picket fences. I've got all of that stuff done. And I've also got the table mat, and I have range rulers and templates and situational markers, like disordered or routed or whatever. Hit markers. I've got all that game required stuff. I had that for the convention a couple of years back, and I never sold that. I only sold the figures. And I redid the map. That was something I mentioned earlier. I was starting to talk about it, and then I got sidetracked. But I redid the map where I used a painter's cloth, just like I did before. But this time I did not use any latex rubber, and I did not use any flock. I just used spray paint. I put some stencils down for the woods. I put some stencils down for the roads and the rivers. And I painted the roads and the rivers and the woods onto this mat, and then the fields I just painted like a mixed colored field, and used black for the cities, brown for the roads, blue for the rivers and the lake. And I think it looks really well, really good. And it didn't take that long. And I can just roll it up. I can fold it up. I can double side. I can put something on the second side. But one thing I did notice with that first one I did was the paint. Even though it's a painter's blanket to protect your carpet or floor, I noticed that my spray paint went through to the other side. It bled through. So I got a new blanket, and this new blanket is rubberized on one side, and so there's no way it could bleed through. But I'm going to use that for the Waterloo, and not. I'm going to leave the Quatre Bras the way it is. It's going to be single-sided. The bleed through I can use for something else like D&D or something like that. Okay, what do we got here? When I finish my Quatre Bras project, I'm considering building an 1815 Austrian army. Okay. For a what-if scenario. Yeah, I was getting ready to say 1815 Austrians would have to be a what-if, where Napoleon goes against the Austrians rather than the English and the Prussians. Well, you know what? It would be fun to play, for sure. I've always liked the Austrians, mainly because I'm selfish and they're easy to paint. Prime white, and you're done. I'm kidding, of course, but I bought some Austrians thinking that I would paint them up for the store. Basically, I picked them because I thought they would be super easy to paint, being that their uniform was white. I could just prime them, paint like a little off color on the straps, and paint their helmets or hats or whatever they got, or boots and their backpacks, and then call it a day, right? Well, I wound up never doing it because I've got all these other Napoleon. When I go to Napoleonics, it's always going to be the Netherlands or the North, the British Allied, Anglo-Allied Northern Army or whatever against French. And so and there's so many battalions that's been keeping me busy for a while. If you were going to do Austrians, I would do 1812. 1809. I figure I'd do a real Austrian army. I would pick an Austrian battle that actually transpired, and that way you would have figures for that battle specifically if you ever decided to run that battle, and then just have them attack just put them in the French hypothetical. Like me, oh yeah, this is another thing I am planning on doing. Just actually, it might even be after Quatre Bras, and before I even jump into the Waterloo, I'm planning on doing the Battle of Corunna Bay. It's a battle in the peninsula where the British are performing a holding action, a retreat, a fallback, while their armies board ships to escape Portugal or Spain. In that case, I think it was Spain. So there's only going to be a corps on each side. And so by doing Quatre Bras, I know I will have a French corps finished. I'll have a second corps. And I'll have the British, I'll have enough to do a corps, I think. Maybe not. I'll have to reevaluate that. But because I have all these Netherlands and Dutch Belgians and Nassau and everybody else, so maybe I won't have a corps. But if I have enough to do that battle, then what I'll do is I'll make a battle map for that battle, and I don't care that I only have Belgique Shakos and not stovepipes, I'll still use them, you know. And the battalions might not be the appropriate battalions. I'll basically just proxy them in. You know, like I might say, okay, this 27th Inniskillings is actually going to be the 44th Essex, or whatever they are actually. Or, being the anal stickler that I am, I might actually paint up those units. I don't know. Okay, so there, we got all the great coats, backpacks, and the one on the officer. He's got one actually strapped across his back. That's like one of the first miniatures I've ever seen like that. I'm going to show you on camera what I'm talking about. It is a front rank officer. Okay, this brush. So if there's, okay, this is while I'm cleaning this brush. If there's a topic that you'd like to discuss in a future video, feel free to put it in the comments. What I will do is each week I will try to address those comments or those suggestions. Like if you want to talk about cavalry, or if you want to talk about the way you base miniatures, or if you want to talk about different flock, or whatever you want to talk about, drop it in the chat and I will take notes, because at the end, like next Wednesday, I'm going to have like a show notes mainly for myself, so that I will be more organized. Today was not organized. We're off the cuff. We're just shooting the shit. Okay, this officer. Okay, he's not focused because the camera's not. Whoa, my Westcott ruler. Come on now. Okay, so he's not in focus, but okay, he looks just like a normal officer, right? Okay, this is something unique I haven't seen before. Where's he at? See how that great coat is only on, it's like rolled up like a bedroll on his back. That's pretty cool in my opinion. I was like, all right, variety. I love me some variety. Also, when I painted every figure for Napoleon's battles to be able to do Waterloo, right? I painted all the Allied, Prussians, French, generals, cannons, artillery, cavalry, everything, right? And those units were in 24 figure bases. They're 15 millimeter though. And I never knew this. And it's another thing I'm learning, you know, even though I've been doing this for 20 years, maybe longer, I never knew that the French standard poles were blue. I just assumed they were wooden, which they are wooden, but they're painted blue. And I've always painted them like a wood brown color. And they're actually supposed to be blue. Okay, so the next color might be a little more tedious. It's going to be collars and cuffs. And it's going to vary. Okay, mainly just collars that you can see. Red collars on the normal center companies, and then red collars for the grenadiers, and then yellow and red for the officer and staff. So it's pretty much just red across the board except for the Voltigeurs. Okay. Look at that bottle. Do you guys remember the Hex bottle from Citadel? Oh my gosh, that is old as dirt. But you know what? It's still good. Okay, can't use this brush. This brush is too large. This is an O. I'm planning on using a 5O. Okay, this is my favorite brush brand. Okay, if you guys are looking for some and they're cheap. Believe it or not, I've paid top dollar for these Citadel, Army Painter, Warlord Games, you know, all these paint companies out there that make expensive, like $14 to $20 brushes. I will get them in, I'll use them, they'll be really good, but then they will wear out. They wear out over the course of a month or two, and then I got to buy another one or another one. And I do my best to reconstitute them using brush soap or hot water or whatever, just hand soap or whatever I'm using to clean the brushes. This brand right here, and I hate to admit it, but I think it's Chinese. This brand, Pro Art. I don't know if you can see that. Probably not. It's probably not in focus. Pro Arte. It's got an E at the end. Art with an E at the end. All media miniature brush. This is a 5.0. It comes in a pack of like 10 brushes for like $10. A 10.0. Okay, you could think fine detail, right? There's an O, right? Just a fairly large brush. It's an O. There's a 3.0. Hold on, there's some more blue ones. There's an O in blue. There is a 10.0 in blue. Should be a 3.0 in gold and blue. Okay, you can see I've got a couple of these sets. Okay, but my point is the points are very sharp on all of them. I'm getting ready to use that's an O. I'm getting ready to use this 5.0 to paint their collars. The difference between the blue and the gold. The blue say all media miniature brush, and the gold ones say micro detail brush. But you know what? They're pretty much, the all media tend to have longer bristles. You can kind of see the length. I don't know if you can see the length of the bristle. It's pretty long. Where the gold brushes tend to have a much shorter bristle length. But you can get like a 10 pack, maybe it's 7, I don't remember. But you get all the brushes you need to paint any miniature that you're ever painting for $10. They lasted me about a year. And I just and they're still some of my best brushes. And then I bought a second set just recently, just so I can cycle through them faster or whatever. Yeah, they are Pro Art. They're the bee's knees. I highly recommend them. Okay, we only got about 15 more minutes. Let's take a look at the chat again. Subject suggestion. Okay. Storage and transport of miniatures at home and for events. Okay. Okay, that sounds like a good topic. We could squeeze that in there somewhere. British 9-pounders, medium or heavy artillery, as they didn't have 12-pounders. Um, you have medium or heavy. If I was to say anything, I would say medium. Because I think a 6-pounder is light artillery. A 3, 4, 6, that's light artillery. And then the 9s would be medium, and 12 and 20-pounders would be heavy. Pulling out my Albion Triumphant book, right? Let's take a look at British Army lists. Now, I don't know what game system you're referring to, but I am only referring to black powder. And I do believe that in the army lists that are provided, they list artillery only as foot or horse. But then they also list it as like smooth bore, or yeah, they're all smooth bores anyway. At this period in history. Okay, so we got horse artillery, foot artillery. Yeah, that's pretty much how they list all their artillery. So a 9-pounder and a 6-pounder would both fall into the, or could fall into the foot artillery. Whoops, I'm reaching for the wrong book. Hang on. Okay, I don't have it over here. Give me a second. Okay, I'm pulling out the black powder 2nd edition because there is a 1st edition. Okay, black powder 2nd edition. I'm going all the way to the back. Before the scenarios. Like there's Quatre Bras. Yeah, they've got Guard Elite Veteran Foot, Siege, and Horse. Okay. Trying to get in front of the scenarios. Artillery. Okay, so artillery is listed as only smoothbore battalion guns, smoothbore horse artillery, smoothbore foot artillery. So I would consider the 9-pounder to be foot artillery. I would not consider it to be horse artillery. I would only consider some of my 6-pounders as horse artillery. And I would base that on the crew and not the gun. So, okay, you should be able to see this on my screen. Did I close it? No, I didn't close it. Okay. So right here we got, let's go British. Okay, we got the first corps. Okay, let's blow this up so we all can see it. My glasses are failing me. Okay, there we go. You should be able to see that. All right. So if we come down here to 1st Division, they've got a battery of Royal Artillery, 9-pounders with 1 howitzer. And then we've got Horse Artillery. It says 9-pounders. Oh, okay. Huh. So I would still consider this to be foot artillery, and I would consider this to be horse artillery, even though they're both 9-pounders. It's based on how they were deployed, what kind of equipment they have with them. It's not always about the gun. It's not always about the gun. Sometimes it's about their training. Sometimes it's about the limbers and how quickly they can maneuver and aim and fire and reload and all that jazz. So, but as a general rule of thumb, I would think that 6-pounders would be horse and 9-pounders would be foot. Coming down to 3rd Division, we got Lloyd's Battery, 9 and 9. I'd make both of those foot. And these batteries don't even tell me what kind of guns they have in them. I'd have to do a little bit more research on that. That doesn't either. I might have also deleted those. Okay, now here's the attached artillery. This is something that it's part of the core attachments. You can see that's Royal Horse Artillery. Every single one of those is Royal Horse, and you got 9, 9 rockets, 6, 6. And then there's some half batteries, 6-pounders. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so that's pretty much, none of those would be siege, obviously. I would consider maybe a 20-pounder or those specific cannons that don't have wheels. You know which ones I'm talking about, bombards or whatever. I might consider those to be siege artillery. And 6 and lower is probably going to be like, yeah, okay, you got your Galloper guns and stuff like that. Those might be considered battalion guns. 4 or lower might be considered battalion guns when it comes to the ranges in the book. 6-pounders, I would definitely consider those to be horse, but they can also be foot, because you can have 6-pound foot artillery, like in the French. They're divisional guns. They've got like 6-pounder foot and 12-pounder foot. Yeah, let's take a look at the French. All right, now let's go to the 2nd Corps. 5th Division, 6-pounders. Okay, so 6-pounders are in the division, but then when it comes to the core artillery, which is right reserve artillery right there, you got 12-pounders. And Cavalry de Cheval, which is your horse artillery, 6-pounders, and a couple of howitzers. But in the TO&E for Quatre Bras or Waterloo, it shows these as horse artillery, and you can mount them as whatever you want to mount them as. When it says pied, that's foot, French for foot, so that's foot artillery. All right. Napoleon's Battles Miniatures Game Rules System. British heaviest artillery list is 9-pounders. Oh, we're talking about Napoleon's Battles? Okay. Yeah, I love Napoleon's Battles. I just haven't... I've moved on from it. Basically, I've decided to go battalion scale. Okay, so listed as 9-pounders, so Royal Horse Artillerists are to be used. British Royal Foot Artillerists have painted are unused. No, I think the British had some foot artillery 9-pounders. I'm trying to remember how. Because if I remember right, in Napoleon's Battles, I put 2 figures on a base to represent horse artillery, and 3 figures on the base represented foot artillery. And specifically I used, for the French, I specifically used 6-pounders for horse and 12-pounders for foot. But I think they had 6-pound foot. And then when it came to the British, they had howitzers, rockets, 6-pounders, and 9-pounders. And what Napoleon's Battles did, if I remember right, for the Waterloo battle, was they extrapolated however many howitzers were in the entire army and broke it down to how many bases of howitzers you got. You got like 1 rocket, 2 or 3 howitzers, a bunch of 6 and 9-pounder bases. I think, I'm just trying to remember, but I think I mounted my 9-pounders as foot artillery. I think. Hey, give me a second. Oh, it's not right there. I must have put it away. Okay, I thought I had my Napoleon's Battles book right here. No. Where is it? I bet you it's in the garage. Because I haven't played Napoleon's Battles in forever. I'm looking around at my other shelves too. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't have it with me. I'm going off memory on that. Sorry about that, guy. But yeah, I think they had foot and horse. You just got to decide, you know, are they going to be part of the division or corps? In that case, in Napoleon's Battles, they don't have division guns. They've got, or do they? Because you got your division general and his 2 brigades or 3 or 4 brigades, and then maybe a gun or 2, if I remember right. If it's in the division, I would mount them as foot artillery, the 9-pounders. If it's in a cavalry division, I would mount it as horse. And then if it's in the reserve, I would mount it as horse. That's the way I would do it. All right, guys. Well, it is 1 o'clock. Our time is up. I appreciate everybody coming out. Now, I do plan on doing this again next Wednesday. What miniatures I'll have on the table, I don't know, because I'll have these finished today probably. We can talk about other rule sets. I'm totally okay with that. We can talk about what's going on in the world. We can talk about paintbrushes. We can talk about game manufacturers, miniature reviews. We can do all of that. Just give me some suggestions on what you want to talk about. If I don't get any suggestions, it's no big deal. I'll come out with something we can talk about next week. Which right now we might actually talk about carrying cases. That sounds like a good topic to talk about. And I will see you next week. Everybody have a good day.